Hello students, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm starting with a new video on photosynthesis. This is the third lesson of this particular topic. If you haven't watched the first two lessons of this topic, then first go and watch those videos in my channel for better understanding and then come back to this video. Now let's start the video. Now first, we need to know the process of photosynthesis. See, photosynthesis takes place, or this phenomenon occurs in mesophyll cells. Mesophyll cells are the principal centers of photosynthesis. These mesophyll cells are present in the leaves. And mesophyll cells are of two types. One is the palisade and another one is the spongy. Palisade mesophyll cells are present on the upper surface. These are the rows of palisade mesophyll cells. And spongy mesophyll cells are present below the palisade. These cells are spongy mesophyll cells. Okay? So, photosynthesis occurs in mesophyll cells that are present in leaf. Now, what happens during daytime? During daytime, sunlight falls on the leaves, right? Now, this light energy is then trapped by the chlorophyll, which is present on the upper layers of the mesophyll, especially the palisade mesophylls. This sunlight gets trapped by the chlorophyll that is present in the mesophyll cells, on the upper layers of the mesophyll cells. Clear? Now, this light energy is then utilized in this process for the formation of what? For the formation of food. Food means what is the product that is formed in this process? This is the glucose, that is C6H12O6. So, what is happening? By utilizing the light energy from sunlight, obviously, which is absorbed by the chlorophyll, which is present in the mesophyll cells of the leaves, and carbon dioxide. This is provided by the atmosphere. And who provided this carbon dioxide? We human beings provide carbon dioxide to plants, right? And water vapor. Roots absorb water vapor from the soil. So all these elements, carbon dioxide, water vapor, light energy, then chlorophyll, they finally give rise to food. That is the glucose, C6H12O6. And what are the other two products? Water and oxygen. Clear? So this is basically the process of photosynthesis. During daytime, when sunlight falls on the leaves, then that light energy is trapped by the chlorophyll that is present in the upper mesophyll cells, that is the palisade mesophyll cells. Okay? Then this light energy is utilized for the process of photosynthesis along with the carbon dioxide and water. And it results in the formation of food. That is glucose, C6H12O6, the formula of glucose. Along with it forms the water and oxygen. Clear? Now, the process of photosynthesis consists of two phases. One is the light-dependent phase, which is known as the photochemical phase. And the second phase is the light-independent phase. So, let's see the first phase, light-dependent phase. Why light-dependent phase is also known as photochemical phase? Because here the light plays a very important role. Photo means light. Because this phase is dependent on light. This phase takes place in the presence of sunlight. That's why it is known as photochemical phase. And this particular light-dependent phase takes place in thylakoids. I have told you about thylakoids in my previous video while explaining about the structure of chloroplast. If you haven't watched the video, then first go and watch that video. Okay? So, this light dependent phase takes place in thylakoids. Clear? Now, during this phase, two steps are there. First one is the activation of chlorophyll. First, chlorophyll gets activated. How chlorophyll will get activated? See, we know that chlorophylls are present in the mesophyll layers, mesophyll cells of the leaves. Now, when light energy. That means when sunlight falls on the leaves, then that light energy is absorbed by the chlorophyll, and then that chlorophyll gets activated. But what is absorbed? Photons are absorbed. Photons are nothing but the smallest unit of light energy. It is the smallest unit of light energy. So photon gets absorbed by the chlorophyll. Okay, and then chlorophyll gets activated. And the next step is the splitting of water. Splitting means the breaking of water. Water gets splitted or water gets break. Water breaks. Why? This is known as photolysis. Photo means light, lysis means breaking. That means here the water molecule gets splitted or they break in the presence of light. As this reaction is occurring in the presence of light, that's why this reaction is known as photolysis. And the water splits up into hydrogen and oxygen. So what is happening? In the first step, chlorophyll gets activated by absorbing the light energy, and in the second step, water molecule gets splitted in the presence of light. Okay, now what are the end result or end products of photolysis? See, here the water molecule gets splitted into hydrogen ion, electrons and oxygen. The hydrogen ion, that is H plus ions, they are picked up by a compound called NADP, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. This particular compound, NADP, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, they picked up or they accept the hydrogen ions and they form NADPH, this compound. Okay, the oxygen that is released, that will finally form the molecular oxygen. Clear? That will be then utilized by the living organisms for respiration. And what about the electrons that are formed? Now these electrons are then used for the conversion of ADP to ATP. ADP is adenosine diphosphate and ATP is adenosine triphosphate. That means in ADP there are 2 phosphate group and in ATP there is 3 phosphate group, triphosphate. So these electrons are used for the conversion of ADP to ATP by adding of one phosphate group. And this reaction is known as photophosphorylation. Phosphorylation means the addition of phosphate group. Here there is one addition of phosphate group. That's why it is phosphorylation. But why photophosphorylation? Photo means light. This reaction takes place in the presence of light energy. That is why photophosphorylation. All the reactions that takes place in this phase, that is light dependent phase, all the reactions takes place in the presence of light because the whole phase is dependent on light. Clear? So this is about the light dependent phase. Now come to the light independent phase. Now many of the people use a term dark phase, but dark phase is totally a wrong term. Dark phase is totally a wrong term. Why? Because dark phase, this term is old term. It, by hearing or by saying dark phase, it means that this phase occurs only during night when it is dark. But no, this is not the case. Actually, light independent phase means this particular phase is not dependent on light. This do not require any light energy. That is why we say light independent phase. We will not say dark phase. Dark phase means that it occurs in dark when it is night. No, this is not the case. Okay, we will say light independent phase. This phase do not require light energy. That is why we will say light independent phase. And this light independent phase actually occurs simultaneously with the light reaction. Both the light dependent and independent phase, they occur almost simultaneously. The time gap between these two is very, 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 very negligible, very small. Okay. Now, what happens in light independent phase? In light independent phase, the glucose molecules that are present, okay, the glucose molecules that will be produced by the process of photosynthesis, the glucose molecules will join together. few glucose molecules will join together and they will form one molecule of starch. And this joining of glucose molecule is known as polymerization. Okay. Now some plants change this glucose into sucrose. Sucrose means, for example, cane sugar. Okay. They change into cane sugar. And some plants change these glucose molecules into oils, fats. Okay. But most of the plants change these glucose molecules into starch. There are certain plants who change these glucose molecules into sucrose like cane sugar or like oils, fats, etc. Clear? Now we will know what are the end products of photosynthesis. See, I have told you one end product is glucose. Formula is C6H12O6. Now this glucose will be immediately consumed by the plant cells. The glucose that is produced will immediately be they will be consumed by the plant cells. They will be utilized by plant cells. And some of the glucose or the most of the glucose will be stored in the form of starch, insoluble starch that is not soluble. Okay. Some of the glucose will be converted into sucrose, and there are some plants who actually utilize this glucose or use this glucose for the production or for the synthesis of fats and proteins or oils. Okay, so these are basically the utilization of glucose. Along with glucose, we know that water is also formed as the end product of photosynthesis. This water which is produced in this process, it will be reutilized. Reutilized means it will be again utilized by the plants for the continuation of photosynthesis. Just to continue the process, just to continue photosynthesis, plants will require more and more energy. So the water that is produced by this process, again it will be utilized by the plants for the continuation of photosynthesis. Clear? And the last end product is obviously the most important, that is oxygen. Now, some portion of the oxygen is utilized by the leaves. Why leaves? This is not in the syllabus, but you need to know that in leaves, there is a particular type of respiration which occurs, which is known as photorespiration. Now, for this photorespiration, plants require oxygen. So, the leaves utilize some portion of oxygen for this phenomenon, for this respiration, for photorespiration. But the major portion of the oxygen is not required by the plants. So, major portion of the oxygen diffuses out. That means it goes out of the plants and it diffuses out into the atmosphere through stomata. That I have already told you in my previous video. But there is nothing to get worried that this oxygen is being wasted. No. This particular oxygen or major portion of the oxygen which diffuses out into the atmosphere, they are not wasted, because this major portion of oxygen which diffuses out in the atmosphere, this is actually utilized by all the organisms that are present in the environment. Why? It is very much required for the existence of these organisms, because this oxygen is required for the respiration of the organisms, right? So, in this way, the end products of photosynthesis are utilized. Glucose, mainly they are utilized by the plants in the storage in the form of starch or sucrose or oils or proteins. Water, they are utilized by the plants for photosynthesis again. And oxygen, major portion it is diffuses out for the respiration of the animals that are present in environment, and some portion it is utilized by the leaves for photorespiration. Clear? So I think this particular lesson is crystal clear to you all. And if you think my videos are helpful and they're informative, then please like and share my videos. And if you haven't yet subscribed my channel, then please subscribe to my channel. And I will be back with the new video very soon. Till then, stay tuned to my channel and thank you for watching the video.